Bishop Lamor Whitehead is a pastor influencer, and he's going to prison for 9 years. Coincidentally, we're also going to talk about his buddy Mayor Adams up in New York, who has an interesting idea for how to clean up the city streets. Lastly, we need to talk about Project 2025 and its plan to roll back benefits for veterans.
He can't say that. Sir, you can't
Is he
say that.
allowed to say
I'll say
that?
it louder. Lamor Whitehead is an influencer. Not the haha kind, not even the educational kind, the fraud kind. And now he's looking at a 9 year prison sentence for scamming one of his parishioners out of $90,000. Apparently, he told her he was going to take the money and invest it in real estate. And instead, he invested it in his appearance. Lamor has the name the Bling Bishop, which for me would already be a red flag. But we know that sometimes people have blind faith in religious leaders. The church is supposed to be a pillar of the community, but far too often with these influencer pastors, they use that pillar as a pedestal, whether it's Creflo Dollar, Jimmy Swaggart, Kenneth Copeland, and now Lamor. For them, religion is more like a grift. Lamor was using his connection with Eric Adams to make promises that he knew he couldn't keep, just outright abusing his status to get over on the people that trusted him the most. If you're not caught up on the shy, this is your opportunity to skip ahead. We're going to talk a little bit about season 6. In season 6, Papa is starting to ask for money when he preaches, whether it's on the podcast or on the church. He's being told that people should give money to preachers so that they can live lavishly. And I'm not advocating for people to be poor. Pastors can have nice things. But how many times do we have to see pastors dripped in designer or flying private jets before we chalk it up to just a run-of-the-mill scammer MO? Mayor Adams wants to clean up the streets of New York. It's long overdue. And he's introducing a unique approach. He's not increasing the budget to hire more city cops or anything like that. He's discovered that trash belongs in trash cans. I never thought that I'd be talking about trash cans on this channel, but here we are. New York has decided that it may be better to put trash in a container rather than on the ground. And that long-held debate has cost the city taxpayers $4 million. I've been to New York a few times, once in 2018 and once in 2022 to see Lion King on Broadway, which is an excellent show. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it. One thing I can tell you is that the city is a beautiful disaster. My first time I stayed in Brooklyn. I take the train over there, get off, I'm walking to my Airbnb, and what do I see? Piles of trash that are taller than me. And I'm 6'1". I get it. There's a ton of people crammed into a tiny city. You have 20-story apartments, you have tight streets that are filled with traffic, you have sidewalks that are always busy. There's not really a lot of real estate for big trash bins. But having trash that's piled up as high as a 6'1" person on the street is not a good look for the Big Apple. The trash is definitely contributing to the rat problem that New York has. The issue is so bad that they had to hire a rat czar, and they're paying $170,000 a year to try to deal with the issue. The GOP wants Trump to adopt their policies from Project 2025. They drafted a 922-page document outlining their ideas and suggestions for the next Republican president. But Trump has said he doesn't agree with their proposed ideas for government reform. Some of their suggestions have repercussions for a community that's near and dear to me. That's the veteran community. This country often says that it supports veterans, Democrats and Republicans. It's a huge talking point for both sides. Project 2025 wants to cut benefits that are critical for veterans, including receiving both retirement pay and VA benefits. Let me break it down for you. A veteran that completes 20 years of active duty time is eligible for retirement pay. It's the same kind of pension that a police officer or a teacher would get. I think teachers have to do 30 years, but it's the same type of deal. VA benefits are awarded based on service-related injuries. They look at each injury individually, give it a rating from 0 to 100, and then they combine that score, giving you a total disability rating. Once again, these benefits are based on service injuries, not service time. Project 2025 wants to make it so that veterans cannot receive retirement pay for their service time and VA compensation for their service injuries at the same time, even though these two benefits are awarded for different reasons and come from two different pots of money. Does that sound like supporting veterans to you? Now, you can receive VA benefits even if you don't retire. But the issue is, there are people that have served a 20-year military career and they sustain injuries over that 20 years. They've earned their retirement pay through at least 20 years of consistency. And they sacrificed their body in service to this nation, entitling them the right to petition for VA benefits. Let me tell you something about the military. It's a culture. We shave, we don the uniform, we wear our hat a certain way. Let me tell you what's also part of that culture. Pushing through your injuries. There's always something to do and never enough time to do it. That means that sometimes your aching back and busted knees don't get the proper medical attention at the time that you need it. And when you get out, those issues start to exacerbate over time. Now, Project 2025 wants to put a 10-year leash on veterans to file a claim. Let me pull back the curtains for you. The VA already has a process called a nexus to determine if an injury is service-related or not. We don't have people getting out and then 5 or 8 years later, they're claiming things to be service-connected that are not service-connected. VA benefits are for injuries sustained in service, and retirement pay is for time in service. But for whatever reason, the people that say that they support veterans don't want you to have both. If you like the video, like the video. Subscribe to meet me back here for the next conversation. And if you have thoughts, let the world know. This is the place for discourse. Peace.